Hey y'all.
Hello.
Welcome. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I
welcome.
lost it all. I've lost the whole thing.
Welcome
I
back
don't even
to
remember
another
the name.
episode of Putting Our Business in the Streets.
My name is Demia. I'm the mother.
I'm Imani, the daughter.
And welcome back to part 2 of Brunching with Carolyn. I don't know what we're going to call it yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But Carolyn and I had a lunch day today introducing Dr. Carolyn Stout Swain. And we met for lunch today, and it was just one thing on top of the other, on top of the other. So we went out for brunch today. If you want to know all about that experience, go back and listen to the recording before this one. Mm-hmm. But when we sat down to eat, and I went to go order my food, and I said I wanted the fish and the grits, whatever. So I, for whatever reason, said, Carolyn, do you put sugar in your grits? Clutch her pearls. She was like, no. I said, really?
No.
Her whole face was gone. Disgusting. I was like, I thought that was just a north-south thing. I didn't know that other people from Philadelphia would not put sugar in their grits. You know about this?
I've learned that too recently, like in the past year.
You do sugar.
I do. But I can do
what have
no
you taught
sugar.
Her?
I can do no sugar if it's seasoned well. Like I've had grits without sugar that were good.
What's the seasoning?
I don't know, but they had some up in there because it was good. It
wasn't
just some restaurant I went to, but it was in the South, in North Carolina.
Salt, pepper, butter.
So she was saying savory. And I'm like, no, but it's sugar. And she was like, with cheese? Well, the salt and pepper. I said, actually, no salt, just some pepper. And she was like, with
pepper,
butter?
With butter and sugar.
And I said, yeah. She was like, that's wrong.
No.
Butter, sugar, and pepper. Disgusting for her.
Oh.
When I make my own grits, I'll do salt, pepper, butter, and then I will put sugar in it.
Oh my gosh.
And then what else do you put in your grits?
Oh, cheese.
Oh my gosh.
So she was like, what? I said, no, I personally would not put cheese in mine if I'm cooking them just for myself. Mm-hmm. But everyone around me likes it. And I'll eat it if I have to.
Right.
But for me personally, I will not eat it. And speaking of which, when she asked me for my order, do you want cheese in your grits? No. But I like them in my eggs. Yes. And what happened with my grits?
They put them in their grits.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they put them in eggs too.
Mm-hmm. 2 different cheeses on top of that. And she said, what kind of cheese? And I said American. And that wasn't American cheese.
Yeah, you always get American. Why don't you like cheddar cheese?
I don't know. American cheese just tastes.
Do you get the American because it's yellow? You don't really see it too much. It kind of blends in with the food. But if it's the orange cheddar, I feel like you see it. Because when I lived in California, I went to go get American cheese. And this was at like the fancy market, you should say. Like there was Ralph's, which is like our Acme. And then there was, I forget what it was called, but it was kind of like a Whole Foods type deal. And so I went in and I was like, oh, I'd like to have American cheese. And she starts cutting this orange cheese. I was like, whoa, hold it. American cheese.
Right.
And she said, yeah, this is American cheese. I said, no, that is not. And back and forth. I said, well, can I have white cheese? I don't know what that is. Right. That is not, I'm not from here.
Right.
I know this is California,
right.
But I'm not from here. My cheese, American cheese, is white. She's like, oh, okay. So she puts that back and she gives me.
No, it's funny you say that because when we were in New York, we got eggs. She wanted cheddar, and I wanted American. So when it came out,
they gave me the plate with white cheese.
American cheese.
No, just in this moment. Hers was white
mine
cheese.
Mine came with white cheese. Hers came with orange cheese. So we're like, they just got confused. So we switched. But then there was something else on the plate. Oh, I had onions in my eggs as well. She had onions in hers. And I was like, so they got the cheeses wrong and put your onions in mine.
Right.
So we're waiting for the waiter to come back. Right. Well, our waitress, she ended up not coming back, but like one of the bus boys ended up coming, and we're like, because he noticed we were just sitting there because he wasn't eating.
Like, what's wrong?
So he's like, is everything okay? And we're like, our food is mixed up. Like I was supposed to have that one, she's supposed to have this one, but this one has onions. I don't eat onions, so like we just need a new batch.
Right.
So when he left, I could see him. He walked away and he stopped, and he looked at the plate. And I was like, I think he forgot what we just said or something. So he took a few steps again and he looked at the plates again and he was like, so he came back and we did it again. And I was like, this is still not right. And he took it back and he came back finally. He was like, this is cheddar and this is American. Cheddar. It was white cheddar and orange American.
Where we're from.
And I said, I'm sorry.
American cheese is white.
Right.
There's white sharp cheddar. Like, because if you look in the market, you can see the white sharp cheddar, and then you can see the orange sharp cheddar.
Yeah,
right.
But I guess.
But when it comes to American cheese, I've always known it to be white. Because I know cheddar can be white or orange, but I'm like, but this is American.
So I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, we messed that up. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. I think for a long time I didn't know about orange American cheese.
I did not.
So I think that's what it is. Right. So I'm just stuck in my head that
until 1990, I did not know.
But yet when I go buy American cheese, like if we making burgers or something, you prefer orange, don't you?
For the burger,
yes,
yeah. And to me, I would rather have white.
Yes, for sure. I only like the orange cheese and macaroni and cheese, which is another conversation.
We had a whole conversation about food. So getting back to the grits, let's just start there.
Yeah.
I was like, the only time I ever heard of no one having sugar was when you were dating Xavier. That's the first time I ever
put sugar in her grits.
Shut up.
No.
See?
Sure? Maybe she used to, but my mom said, call her. Because I just had this conversation with her. And she was like, I don't put sugar. Because, my mom, it could just be age. Now she's older, just like things is sweet.
Right.
So maybe she used to.
Maybe she's trying to be healthy.
But recently I asked her, she was like, no.
Okay. Because it's disgusting.
So why would I put, I don't know.
Nobody knows why you put sugar in grits.
Did your dad put sugar in his grits?
I think so. Everybody put sugar in their grits.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Especially people from the South. They don't
spread that lie at all.
So that was one thing we disagreed on. Then it was, it was a whole bunch.
The macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese. We got to talk about that.
Okay, what about it?
So I was saying how I grew up on the blue box.
Yeah.
And she was like, I said, but my dad worked for
Kraft cheese.
So I grew up on Kraft, so that's why I like that. But then I said how you make one that I really like, and I said, but I think it came down to the creamier the mac and cheese for me, the better I like it, which is the one that you always make.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I don't like the dry, you cut it and it's like just a block. That is not Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Kraft is not no cheesy. Like when you're spooning mac and cheese, you're supposed to see the cheese.
Yes, the
creamy. Kraft does not give.
Kraft does give creamy with the milk in it.
Yes, exactly what they say.
Anywho, y'all not gonna be
the Kraft macaroni and cheese is like wet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's wet.
But it's.
I didn't say it was creamy. I just said it was wet.
Yeah. Bleh.
I don't like when you take out a block macaroni and cheese from somebody's oven and it's just a block of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. It needs to
That's nasty.
It needs to.
But then she asked, "What cheeses do you use?" And I had told her how it was the cheddar, but you use that Mexican blend.
But I
because I originally bought it by accident.
I don't use.
And you happen to use it.
But I don't use it. I only use it that one time because we bought it. But I don't normally put that.
I
don't put the Mexican blend. I put the mixed blend. The mixed blend of cheeses.
Yeah.
But you have bought Mexican by accident.
So the mixed blend is probably
it has like monetary, the Colby,
Monterey Jack.
I always say monetary.
Money cheese. That's right. Because it is expensive.
Because in the recipe it calls for the different types of. But I don't get the blocks and shred it myself. I get the pre-packaged. Although I keep saying I'm going to do it with
the recipe that she followed originally, it used to ask for the Velveeta cubes. I can't find them anymore. So then she's like, well, I think I want to go ahead and start grading it. So first of all, I was like, we don't have a grater.
Yeah.
So I bought a grater finally. Okay. And then she was like, I didn't know cheese came in blocks.
No, in the market.
Yeah.
In the market. I knew they came in blocks.
Because she didn't care before.
Right. Well, now you ain't never came home with a block of cheese.
Because I'm not a big cheese person.
Exactly.
But if you went to the market,
I do go to the market.
Now you
now
do.
She does, yeah.
But if you would see that there's blocks of cheese next to the regular cheese.
Because I always go to the market with you as a kid, but I don't remember seeing blocks.
Right.
Like, I thought, like, so I'm like, oh, that must be like at the produce store, like the flea market. Like, you don't just go to the store and buy a block of cheese, but apparently you do.
Yeah. But you want to grate your own cheese because if you do it in the bag, it's easier, but they have like a wax on the cheese that's not good for your macaroni and cheese. Okay. So you want to shred.
Yeah.
You want to shred it.
Yeah.
But she's learning too because the Alfredo that I told you she makes, she's noticing the one cheese that we used to buy, it didn't melt right.
Yeah.
So then she knew to go
But then I went back to the ingredients and it said don't buy. Well, first of all, I was supposed to be buying grated cheese. I bought shredded.
Okay.
And then they do say, but don't buy pre-grated.
Yes.
Which I did.
Yeah.
And it did melt. But I'm pretty sure if I would have grated it myself, it would have been. It would just taste better.
It's a different melt.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different melt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now you know with that. So then that was the macaroni and cheese. So then she was naming all the cheeses she put on her. Let's just see, now I'm not going to eat yours because it's too many cheeses.
But I do put, but you wouldn't know because I do put different cheeses in it.
Listen to these cheeses that she puts in hers. Go ahead.
So I do use the orange sharp. I use the white sharp. I use the Monterey Jack. I use Colby. Sometimes I use Gruyere.
I never heard that.
It's really good. Gruyere, if you like French onion soup.
She does not.
I've never had French onion soup.
Oh my god. Oh.
But probably because I don't like onions.
Because you don't like onions.
I have a love-hate relationship with onions.
Okay.
Because I like the flavor it gives.
That's Maya.
But I don't like
She doesn't like the onions, but she likes the flavor.
Raw
and
onions.
French onion soup
I could maybe eat fried onions if it's mixed in.
Yeah.
But raw, no. But the flavor is lovely.
Yeah. But for a French onion soup, you're supposed to caramelize those onions.
Okay.
So depending on... I always try to get French onion soup, whatever restaurant I'm in, if they have it, so I can kind of compare. As Michael is always saying, you should just get a cookbook and like say, you know, the French onion soups of America or something, and just so some of them will not caramelize the onions the way they should.
Okay.
And they should really be very soft. They should be brown. They should be caramelized, and that takes like about a half hour. But if they're trying to be quick and just, you know, let me throw some onions in here.
But even in the French onion soup, though, can't you chew the onion?
Yeah.
She's not going to eat that.
But see, I'll eat onion rings and I'll eat the blooming onion. So that's what I'm saying. When it's cooked or fried, I can maybe.
Right.
Okay.
But then,
not a raw taste.
but even if I would have had that in a soup, I wouldn't want to eat the
So I'm wondering if I were cooking French onion soup for you, I would probably use my emulsion blender, so I could blend that up in the broth, so you wouldn't see the onions, but you'd have that onion flavor, and then you would put the cheese on top and you melt it and do your boil. Yeah. Oh, I love French onions. Oh, it's so good.
Everywhere we went.
Yeah. So it's Gruyere and provolone goes on the French onion. Is Gruyere the
one with the white? It is like white icing on the top. Or it looks like a casing on the top of the cheese. Is that what? Yeah. I think I've had that. That's pretty good.
And I've used Fontina. I've used
all in
Gouda.
One? All of that in one?
No. But like it depends, you know, because Havarti, like you use the soft cheeses because it'll melt better, but it gives you different flavors.
Okay.
And for the macaroni and cheese, one year I made an Italian macaroni and cheese. Because my nephew, by marriage, he was like, you know, why can't they have a macaroni and cheese with like pizza cheese? And I was like, let's try it. In this kitchen, I did it. And it was mozzarella, Parmesan. I think I did use Fontina. And I used lots of garlic, lots of oregano, Italian spices and everything. He did not like it.
Did you like it?
It was okay, but I think I had in my head, this is not macaroni and cheese. Mm-hmm. This is something different. Mm-hmm. It's good, but this is not macaroni and cheese in my head.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I like traditional, baked macaroni and cheese, not Kraft. Mm-hmm. Baked macaroni and cheese. But would I make that again? If somebody had asked me to, yeah, I would make it again, but I wouldn't have made it for myself.
Right.
Wow.
Not at all. But
I don't feel like that was too many cheeses that she named.
Yeah. But like you mix and match.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right.
If you like Havarti, you can use Havarti. If you like the Fontina, you can use both, or you could use just the Havarti, But
for those cheeses, I need to take her to a specialty shop, not in the market.
No, they're in the market.
Oh, okay. Where do you go?
I go to the Giant, and they're right up there, like on that top shelf. Or, when you come in and they have like the olive bar, and they have the cheese bar. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can get it there. And then sometimes you can get it where like the shredded cheeses are.
Okay.
So it all depends on the market.
Right.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good. Like I like to experiment when I cook. So that's why I did that. Because I told you the one recipe that I saw on YouTube where he layers it like a lasagna.
Oh.
Like you put your macaroni, and then you put your cheeses, and then you're supposed to put your spices, and then at the end, after you've layered it as much as you can, you put your milk mixture, like your milk, your egg. I think you put a little pinch of sugar. There was something else, but you put all that in the blender, and then you fill it up until it's like hitting the edge of the macaroni and cheese. You put that final layer, put it in, covered for like a half hour, take it off for the last 20 minutes. Perfect. So good. It's so good. And Michael makes it now.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's her specialty.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Imani's mac and cheese.
Yes.
Yeah, for what did I do, it is good, but I know it can be better.
Yeah.
And I do want to get to a point. I mean, I want to get to a point where I'm just cooking in general and making more things from scratch.
Yes.
Because
it's better for
Mom, you got buy, bottled like sauce.
I'm a jar and a can.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but
not vegetables though.
But my mom didn't, like, she'll do everything the easy way. So that's why I didn't know you could go to the market and buy a block of cheese. Right. Because we're just always buying the packages of cheese and stuff like
quick
that.
And easy.
Yeah, quick and easy. So
I cook to survive.
Right.
I don't cook because I like it.
Right. And I love to cook.
No.
I love to cook.
If I can finish a meal in 10 minutes
by
opening up a jar of spaghetti sauce,
no,
then that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you want to sit here and make your spaghetti sauce from scratch, feel free.
And I have.
I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
Because it's not something that I choose to do.
But then there are some things, even with me loving to cook from scratch, like as much as I can from scratch. I was just, I bought these meatballs at the Giant, and I was like, all right, just let me get this real quick. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's just meatballs. They were the best meatballs I have ever had. I was like, I am never making a meatball because they had a spicy meatball, they had like a regular meatball, and then they had like a cheese-based meatball. All of them. Good.
See? Sometimes quick, easy.
But that's just the one thing.
Yeah. It's not everything.
So it's not everything. And like, I'm with you when you can do it quick and easy. Do it quick and easy. But
and like you said, you learn over time because like with even vegetables now, I prefer not to get the frozen. Right. Because then it was, I didn't want vegetables. It used to be you had to put it in a pot, you had to boil, you got to do all that. Then it came steam in a bag. Then I used to get the steamer from Pampered Chef or Tupperware. I used to steam my own in the steamer. Right. Then it came out with the steam in the bag, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! Now I can just throw this in the microwave." Yeah. But now the servings are so small in the packaging, So now I'm going to the produce store and I'll
and
just
the
buy a whole bunch
microwave
of.
is not supposed to be good for you.
Right.
And all of those carcinogens.
So now I just go get vegetables and roast my own now, just do my own thing. So you kind of learn. My question for you with the Alfredo sauce: did you care before my ex used to make it? Because that's when you had the homemade Alfredo sauce.
My ex
used to make it too.
Well, his mom, like, she loves to cook.
Okay.
And they're from the South, so she makes majority of things from scratch, and it's good. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, you're making things like it tastes better. You can tell the difference,
right?
And it just really tastes better.
Yeah.
So this is
good. And he also cooked as well, so that's what also made me. Because I'm like, okay, well, now I need to learn how to cook.
Right.
So,
so
that's where it came from. But him, too.
Because my ex made an Alfredo, and his was always from scratch.
Oh.
So when she started with this, she was like, so that jar Alfredo that you use, it don't taste the same as this here.
And then
so
I've also learned, because since you always like to do quick and easy, like, everything isn't as complicated as it seems. Like, making an Alfredo is not that hard. It really doesn't take that long.
It doesn't.
But, of course, if you just have a jar and pour it and heat it, okay, But then when you really do it, it's like, well, it doesn't even take that long.
Right.
And then it tastes good.
Right.
And I genuinely enjoy food.
Yes.
So if I could have it taste better, then I'm going to do that.
And I'm like, girlfriend, whatever you need.
Because I don't love cooking, but I love food. And if I want it to taste good, I'll go the extra steps to make it taste good.
I just had a question. So, when you're in restaurants, and I get this from my mother, and it's not a good thing. Like, when I'm in a restaurant and I have something, I'm always dissecting it, right? Like today, when we had that, it's like, right. Like, this is lard. Why is it yellow? I'm not sure. Like, how did they make this crust, like this outer layer of fried chicken, so crispy? How did they do it? Because of course, I know what I do, and I know what I've researched, and how different flours and different spices will make it one texture as opposed to another texture. So I'm like always thinking. But then when something comes and it's like, I know you're not going to charge me for this. I can make this in my house. No, I'm not paying a chef. You're supposed to be a chef back there.
Right.
And I can do this. My mom, when I lived in California, was it Kizzy's Kitchen? Or it was like the big soul food place. It was like famous. And so we went there one day. And she's eating it, and she's like, who's in that kitchen? Is Kizzy in that kitchen? Because I cook circles around Kizzy. Stop playing with me. Like, okay. Like, this is supposed to be a famous place. Right. Because back then, I was like 19.
They probably didn't have a lot of soul food places over there.
Exactly. So what does California know about soul food, right? And so
y'all probably shouldn't have been in Kizzy's kitchen anyway.
Right.
Just saying.
But I was 19.
Right.
I mean, that was, oh my God, over 30 years ago.
Right.
So, like, now, of course, I know how to make greens. I know how to make the things that she would eat. But back then, I'm just like, can we just please enjoy the meal? We don't have to do that.
But now you do it.
Now I do it. And it's like, I try not to, but come on, something, like, I feel like if I can make it, you're really not burning up back there.
Well, see, I'm not at that point yet to where I'm really thrown down in the kitchen.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm like a critic a little, just because I want my food to be good.
Right.
But I'm not dissecting it like that. Yeah.
But she's also just getting to the point where she's going out to all these different types of restaurants.
Right.
So she's not doing the Applebee's and the Outbacks and all that. She's going to different. I'm like, you going where?
Because also now they're like, it's like food, like obviously food is popular, but it's like popular now. Like all these places.
I think it's probably COVID.
I think also
because we couldn't go for so long, and now that we're back out, it's like, ooh,
and it's just so many different new restaurants, and then now they want to look aesthetically pleasing, and it's just
and
like
you have
really
TikTok chefs, you got YouTube chefs, like everybody's being famous for being a chef, and it's like now you
because I get mad now when I go out to eat and the place looks real nice, but the food is terrible. And it's like y'all need to be putting that same effort into this ambiance. Exactly. That's what makes me mad, and it's like nowadays you either have one or the other. The food's good, service might be trash, the place doesn't look all that, or the food isn't that good, but the drinks were probably good, and the waitress was probably good. The waiter, like, it's like
and
one
it's
or
funny
the other.
because when we were at the women's group,
you can't have it all.
Last week, and you were talking about the restaurant you went to for your birthday. It was fun.
Fabrica.
Okay. It was good, but the food was bad. And then
Ginger
had talked about.
Came out quick too. I ordered that food, and I promise you, not even 5 minutes later, I had a whole thing of shrimp and grits on my shrimp and grits with bacon.
And Ginger had talked about going somewhere. The restaurant was nice, but the food.
I think it might have been a popular item.
Because probably just sitting in the pot.
I think it's a popular item too, because most people were ordering it, so they probably just have it on go. But it was quick. Because then my other friend, she had just got wings, and like her wings took a little time to come out. So I was like, this must be a popular item.
I can see why the shrimp and grits come out, because shrimp, like that's real quick.
But the shrimp wasn't good, and it looked like it was really seasoned. Did I take a picture? Oh, we recording. But it looked like really seasoned. But then I ate it, and I'm like, this must be paprika because it was very
just for color.
Because it didn't taste like anything.
But there are different paprikas that actually give you a flavor.
We have a smoked paprika, and that actually has flavor.
Yes.
And we put that on our turkey last year for Christmas, and it was really good.
Yeah. Because there's Hungarian paprika, there's Spanish paprika, there's another kind. But, like I'm telling you, if you go to the Head Nut, you're going to be like, oh my God.
Going to take a special trip.
It's just beautiful.
So sitting there exploring different foods.
What else did we talk about?
She does not eat cream of wheat.
There's a debate about that.
She does not eat mashed potatoes. She will not eat a baked potato.
No.
I don't care for baked potatoes.
Will not eat a sweet potato.
But I'll eat sweet potato pie. I'll eat French fries.
Doesn't like cook.
Is it just a sweet potato, or is like you won't eat yams either?
I'll eat sweet potato pie.
Okay. That's it. Because I don't care for a baked potato, whether it's just potato or sweet.
But you like mashed potatoes.
I like mashed potatoes, and I just don't like the concept of a baked potato. I just don't like it.
You don't like cutting it open.
It's doing too much.
You don't
like,
just
take it out, mash it, and let me. Well, no, because I like seafood.
Because you like
and
crabs.
I'll crack some crab legs. So it's not that I have to work for it. It's just something about a baked potato that throws me off. I don't know what it is. Because it's good. I like potatoes, but.
So if somebody scooped it out and just put it on the plate, you'll eat it.
Just make me mashed potatoes. I just prefer that.
But would you eat it? Like your mom is saying, if somebody scooped it out and you didn't have to cut it, and it was just like a boiled potato?
I would, but I still wouldn't prefer
Or
it.
even, remember in Willow Grove Mall when we were teenagers, they had a store in there called One Potato, Two Potato in the food court.
Right.
And you could get a seafood potato, a chili potato, and it was a baked potato open with all of it inside. Would you eat that? But you would have to scoop it. But so you're literally eating it like a bowl, right? And you're eating it like a bowl,
like a potato bowl, like a poke bowl.
Right.
Yeah, it was really good.
If we're gonna have dinner and you're like, oh, and I'm gonna have a baked potato on the side, I could do without it.
Yeah.
My school will always have baked potatoes in the caf, and I'm just like,
because they're cheap and easy. Yeah. But we were talking about Christopher and how
he's a picky eater,
like beyond picky.
He's bad, worse than Ayana.
Like. He needs counseling. Picky.
So what does he eat?
Boiled potatoes.
He doesn't eat any meat.
No meat.
Doesn't even like the smell.
Nope. So like he might have to leave the downstairs area while I'm cooking.
Oh wow.
Because like
he'll get nauseous.
Yeah, like I can't take the smell. So, okay, Mom, I'm gonna go upstairs. Okay, bye.
Wow.
Yeah, he's bad. But with these boiled potatoes, there's no flavor. Like he boils it in water.
Mm-hmm.
And so salt, there's salt, and that's it. Like there's no pepper, there's no broth, there's no flavor.
Right.
And so he's always asking me if I want some boiled potatoes. They're like so good. I'm like, no. You have it all. Okay. And he'll make like 9 or 10 of them. Wow. And like I was telling your mom, he's got a special bowl for them. And he puts the salt in the bottom of the bowl, 1 potato at a time. Because I'm like, can you just
say that's like eating a boiled egg. Because you put salt and pepper and you get the bowl and you dip it in it and you bite it. That's how he eats the...
Well, he has a fork.
Mm-hmm.
He has a fork.
He uses the fork. I don't think I've seen him with a knife. It's just the fork because he makes the best boiled potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you go right ahead with yourself. I don't eat
and
potatoes
he add
like
butter
that.
At least?
No.
Just potato.
He just started eating butter.
Wow.
Like he would have dry toast. And I'm like, Christopher, please.
That hurts.
Right? Like, please tell me some jelly, marmalade, butter, something. He's like, no, dry toast. So now he has 4 slices of toast.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are buttered, 2 of them are unbuttered. And that would be a breakfast for him. Yeah.
Individual.
So what does he take to...
individually?
Yeah.
So what does he take to school for lunch?
He'll eat fruits. Mm-hmm. He used to eat crunchy vegetables, but now he's got the braces. He can't have that, and I think he uses that as an excuse
to not eat them.
Mm-hmm. But he'll eat broccoli, but it has to be lightly steamed, no flavor. It has to be steamed in water. He really wants to eat it raw, but there's just something in me that says, just please cook it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have a hot meal, your broccoli and your boiled potatoes.
Right.
And that's just salt.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he will put a squeeze of lemon. Like the way they tell you to eat vegetables, he eats them like that.
Wow.
And so, of course, I'm like, well, what if you put cheese on it? He's like, oh, no. Oh, my God.
Does he eat cheese?
No. Does not want to eat cheese. So this past week, he's been taking kale.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stand kale. He'll take cherries. He likes cherries. He likes pineapples. He likes mango. Mm-hmm. Like, he likes fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we rely more on the fruit since he can't have the vegetables that he used to have.
Right.
And, like, when we go to restaurants, we force him now to order for himself. Because it's like, that's you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be over here with my salt and pepper shrimp and my, crispy egg rolls. Mm-hmm. You order that nonsense that you order.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll have to tell them, like, no flavor. Please do not put any seasoning on it. Just bring me broccoli that has been lightly steamed. It still has to be a little snap to it. Mm-hmm. And if they come out and they have steamed them longer, then he's like,
send it back.
I told y'all aren't listening. Like, literally put it in the microwave or your steamer for like 15, 30 seconds, no longer than 30 seconds, and bring it out. That's what he wants. Wow. And so the places that we go to that we're regulars, they say, okay, got it.
Wow.
Doesn't eat pizza. He calls it a nothing pizza, which is just bread. But I've recently told him, because I was watching YouTube, and he's got these like bumps on his face, and they're like rosy cheeks. And because Maya is addicted to YouTube, I was sitting there watching it with her one day, and they were saying how bread can contribute to these bumps and these rosy cheeks. And I'm like, Christopher, I told you were going to eat so much bread. It was like you're going to get an immunity to it. Like, you're not going to be able to eat gluten. You're not you're not going to eat bread the way you want to eat bread because you're eating so much of it. So I said, well, let's stop it for 3 weeks and see if it clears up. After about a week, it cleared up, and he's like, I can see a difference.
Oh, wow.
So what does that tell you?
Right.
He says, I probably shouldn't eat as much bread. I'm like, okay, as long as you realize what's happening, because you're about to go to high school.
Can you talk about the video you and Maya watched about the boy and the potato chips?
Oh yeah, so that was on YouTube. Like, he'll eat cookies, cakes, pies, snacks. He wants to eat chips. He used to eat pretzels, all like the bag. But the braces stopped that. But the dentist told him he could have Lay's potato chips because apparently they're softer. Like, I guess it's a thinner chip. And he could have Pringles.
Okay.
So he stopped eating the Pringles. He liked the barbecue Pringles, but then he stopped eating those. I just don't like them anymore. Okay, fine, whatever. So I was watching this video again because of Maya, sitting there watching YouTube, and there's a video that comes on that says this boy, 17 years old, lost his eyesight from eating potato chips. But that was like essentially his entire diet because he has these texture issues, which is what we think Christopher has. Because, like I said, I have them, just not to that extent.
Right.
And so I'm like, Christopher, you're gonna go blind.
Right.
And like the boy was walking with a cane, and I was like, Christopher, please find something else to eat. And so I don't know if he watched it or not, or just listening to Maya and I talk about it. And so he's cut down.
Okay.
And when I tell him, remember that video, like when he goes to get the chips, remember that video? He's like, oh, okay, fine. And he'll try to find something else to eat, but he's set on these certain foods and he won't deviate. But he just started eating white rice.
Okay.
No butter, no salt, no pepper.
Isn't that like Ayana?
Ayana will at least put butter, salt.
Well, what was her weird thing? I said how she didn't like foods that were like she wouldn't eat a casserole,
but she wouldn't eat a sandwich. She wouldn't eat tacos. Like, it's not just I don't want the items on my food to plate on my plate to touch. It was don't mix foods together. But she would eat like all she would eat. I remember is fried chicken, mac and cheese, and vegetables.
Oh my goodness,
that was it.
I would die.
But now she's opened up more. Like she wouldn't eat sauce, but now she'll eat Alfredo.
Okay.
So since she's gotten older, because then she went to college, she was like, well, my mom's not going to be cooking my food. I got to start figuring out what I like to eat.
Okay, good.
So then she started trying things little by little, step by step, and she's like opening her palate. Thank God.
I'm hoping. Because I should not be celebrating the fact that the boy eats plain white rice.
Right.
When I cook rice.
Such an accomplishment.
Right?
Okay, how do you cook rice? Because I feel like I can't get mine seasoned well. Like, I'll add butter, salt, and pepper.
I use bouillon cubes.
What's that?
Or bouillon powder. If you're making soup, it's a bouillon cube.
Remember who we said the chef is in here.
Right.
Act like, this is what I do to my cousin. Act like we on Sesame Street.
Okay.
And talk to us like we Elmo.
So there is...
I know what they are.
Yeah.
I know what they are, but I've never used them. I've never used them as an adult. My parents used to cook with it, but I never cooked with it.
My grandma knows how to cook all these things, and I'm like, well, then why don't you know how to cook them? Or cook them?
My mother cooks like a senior citizen now.
Well, now she does, but she knows.
But she does.
Like,
she
I remember her cooking before she got to where she is now.
Chicken cordon bleu. She would cook chicken.
And I said, what is that?
Yeah.
My mom put some baked chicken in there with some stewed tomatoes and calls it a day. Senior citizen meal. Exactly.
And she doesn't use salt as much, so now they don't have flavor.
Right.
And I'm like, I know it's because of your age, but I'm like, please.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so go back to the rice. Sorry.
I feel like with the salt, when you use the low sodium salt, I'm using like 3 times as much so I can get that flavor. So like, this is really not benefiting me. So I would rather just use a little bit of the real salt and just deal with that.
Right.
And not put extra. Because
even when you watch chefs now, even the healthy ones, everybody uses a pinch of salt.
You have to.
Everybody, right.
Because that brings out
on
the
top
flavor
of everything
of your food.
else, right.
But the bouillon cube, you can get it in cubes or you can get it in powder. Okay. And I have both. But I think moving forward, I will probably just have the powder because you can add that to everything.
Okay.
So I have a rice cooker, and I put like a little pinch of the bouillon powder or a bouillon cube in the water with the rice, and that gives it the flavor. And then of course you put the butter and you put a little salt, so that gives it even more flavor. So now that Christopher will actually eat the rice, of course now I got to make it plain. It's
so you couldn't put the bouillon
like
cube
you're
in
killing
there.
me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you when we use bouillon cubes.
Oh God.
We had a dog, and my mother always felt bad that his food was so dry. So she used to make the bouillon in the water and then pour it over his food. So when you say bouillon cube to me,
You think dog food.
I think the dog food. Until we went to Alpo in the can, wet dog food, but she used to pour it over his, so that it wouldn't, So you're saying in her water, put it in the water, and then add the rice.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you could just get at the regular?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now that I know that.
And when you do shrimp and grits, I put a little bit of the bouillon powder in my grits.
Okay.
With butter and all that. That gives it just and you wonder, like, what did they put in there?
Yeah.
What is in there?
Because I'm like, it's not just salt and pepper. Like, there's something
So that's
else.
probably bouillon.
So we should get, so you're saying to buy the powder, not the
I would
cube.
get, there's like a little,
That's with the spices, right?
It might not be with the spices. It might be with the gravies, like the gravy packets and everything. So I usually use Knorr, but when I moved to the powder, I don't know what that brand is. It just has a chicken on it. And I got that, and it's good.
Okay.
It's good. And so usually when you can't figure out what it is, that's probably what it is.
Okay.
So you put a little pinch depending on what you're making. You can put a little bit or a lot. So I put it in, what did I just make recently? I put it in the chicken. Like even when you're doing chicken, with a little chicken broth, or put the bouillon in it, and that gives it like a richer flavor.
Okay.
So
it can go in about anything.
Anything savory that you're trying to do.
Okay.
Like put it in your flour if you're frying chicken. You can put it in.
That I haven't mastered.
Yeah.
Chicken
is hard.
And
that's my forte.
Yeah, you make
we'll
pretty
see.
good.
Whoa.
We'll see.
I'm being honest. It's not as good as it used to be.
But that's because I don't put as much salt anymore.
Oh well.
And what is fried chicken then with salt? That's why, because I
see,
didn't go heavy on the salt. Yeah. I was trying not to, but I even noticed the difference.
So you
because with fried chicken,
and since I don't make it that often, I think I can go a little heavier on the salt.
Yeah.
Please do.
My thing is because I can sometimes over season. And with chicken, like you don't want to, because you're putting in the flour and you can't then just taste the flour before you put the chicken in there. So
you can taste the flour. You can.
Okay.
Just a little.
Right.
Just a little, but usually
that's nasty.
I know, but until you perfect what it's looking like, you can look at it and see, okay, this is looking like I want it to look. This is probably okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to over season, so I think I cut back, but then it still isn't enough.
Yeah, because Michael and I have that argument. He's like, you put a lot of seasoning. It's like, yeah, but you eat it.
So your flour batter, your flour batter cannot be white.
Right.
Okay.
Your flour batter should change a whole different color.
Yeah.
That's how you know you seasoned it right. But then I also want to start trying. I've never coated it with buttermilk or something like that.
Oh.
And then I've also seen recipes using mustard.
Yes. Yes.
So coat the chicken in either buttermilk or mustard, and then put it in your flour.
You brine it in buttermilk. So when you brine, of course, like you're submerging it in the buttermilk, and you're letting it stay for at least 4 hours.
Okay.
If not overnight, but you still season it the way you want to season it, but make sure it's got the buttermilk in there, and then you let it dry a little bit, and you're taking it out, and then you are I put more seasoning on it, and then I put the seasoning in the flour, and then I was using the mustard, but I didn't see a huge difference. But what you could do when you're doing fried chicken, you do your flour, you put a little cornstarch in there, and that really gives you a crispy outer layer. Because that cornstarch really just crisps things up really well. And like when I was learning how to make that salt and pepper shrimp that I love from the Vietnam Cafe, I used the flour, I used the cornstarch, and it was okay, but I was like, it's still not that crisp bite that comes from the restaurant. So of course I went back, researching my YouTube. Like I go crazy on these researches for recipes. And so that's all I do really on my phone. It's like, okay, what's this? So then I found potato starch. That made it perfect. Oh, it was so good. Now I haven't used it in chicken yet.
My ex used to fry his chicken in peanut oil, and it was good.
You could.
It was a different texture. But I definitely want to, with my frying, make my chicken crispier. So that's what I want to start working on.
I like chicken fried hard.
Yes.
I love chicken fried.
If you use the cornstarch, that should probably make it that crispy that you like.
And you just add a little in the flour?
So say if you're using, I guess it would be 1/4 to 1. So if it's like 1 cup of flour, maybe 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Like it's a decent amount, because you want it to make a difference. And so I made catfish not too long ago. Definitely put that in buttermilk. Soak that in butter. That's how you get that.
I've never made catfish at home. My mother makes it really good, but I've never cooked it.
Soak it in the buttermilk with your seasonings, and with that, the Tonys and the Slap Your Mama, all that. But then flour, cornstarch, and cornmeal. That gives you a nice, crispy outer coating. It's so good.
For fish.
Yeah, the cornmeal is what gives your cornbread that pretty color.
Yes.
I realized that.
Yeah, she said you're starting to make cornbread now. Is it honey cornbread or cornbread?
Honey cornbread.
Oh my God, it's so
good.
Maya loves it. It's like cake.
Yeah,
it's like
really
cake.
Good.
And I don't really like cornbread. Like I don't like cornbread stuffing.
I don't like stuffing.
I love stuffing.
I love cornbread stuffing.
I don't like stuffing at all.
It's so grainy. The texture. I don't like it. But
all right, we have to end this one because I have one more that I have to do with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, there's another one? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, well that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you follow us on all social platforms at Business Streets Pod. Everything will be in the description box below. And thank you for watching.
Thank you. And listening.
Yes, and listening. Bye.
Bye.